All right. But now, Smell, we're going to a little
Yes.
little game I prepared for you
Fuck. Okay.
because I know that you like tier lists.
I love tier
I
lists.
know you love your tier lists, so I
Yes.
made a tier list. Okay,
Okay.
we're gonna do this together. Don't worry.
All right. All right.
This I didn't name it. Fuck.
Okay.
This is a tier list of noob to know name trademarked
Okay.
and yeah, you can't copyright it. Copyright it. You can't use it.
Okay. Okay.
TM right there. Down here, I made a bunch of terms and words and things from Fellowship that are good to know,
Okay.
or things that people should probably know at some point, right?
All right. All right.
And the tier list is gonna be how essential these things are to know or learn about. So we have essential,
Hmm.
you have to know what this is or learn like
Yeah. Yeah.
ASAP. Highly relevant, like you should be learning this soon, but it's not like really like it doesn't have to be right now. Moderate is like, yeah, good to know later on. Low is like you maybe need this when you get into high 50s or whatever, like 50s, high 50s. And no beginner relevance, I think a very good example is like snapping. There's no relevance for a noob to know what a snap is.
Yeah. Yeah. You might
Right.
do it accidentally, actually, and you're
You
just like
might do.
confused at what
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't really
It's
change your
not.
gameplay all that
Yeah.
much.
You probably don't need to utilize it as like a technique.
Yeah. So we're gonna take these one at a time.
Okay.
And I want you to be a little guide for us here. So
Okay. Okay.
from
I probably have very good taste.
yeah, I put them in order, but it just randomizes the
Hmm.
order. So we're just gonna
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
them as they pop up. But all right, hero abilities. How essential is it for a noob to know what their abilities does? Smell.
I think it's pretty essential. Like, sure, you can see some success just pressing buttons without knowing
Hmm.
what they do, but I don't think that's gonna carry you very far. So I think you should read your tooltips and just like experiment, see what your buttons do. I
Okay.
think that's pretty essential.
An opener as a term, like what? How essential is it to know what an opener is?
Like, obviously, it is a little bit different for me as like a healer main. Like, my rotation might look a lot different from DPS players, and it is probably a lot less relevant. But I think just knowing what to hit in what order, especially like at the start of the pool, to just like start generating resources and just like get you on cooldown or whatnot. I think it's pretty important. I'm not sure if it's like super essential. I don't know if you need to like exactly know where your optimal rotation is right off the bat, but it goes
Hmm.
pretty high up there. I would at least.
Okay. So high.
Yeah, I would say high. Maybe that's a weird take. I don't know.
No, I
I'm gonna
think
crucify me for this.
that's completely valid. I feel like
Uh,
most people, when you know what your abilities do,
hmm.
then the next step should be knowing what the first thing you press is, because so many
Oh, for
heroes
sure.
are dependent on what they do in their opener. I'm
Yep.
pretty sure Gunday is one, and Mara is fucking dependent on what they click first off.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Because you want your resource generation. I know that if you Unsavian, don't go in with a shield first off, you just
Hmm.
fucking flop over, right? So it's pretty nice to know what your opener is. Um,
Yeah.
resource generation.
I think this is pretty essential. Like, obviously, it sort of depends on like what your hero wants to do, but it's just like if you're like a builder spender type hero, that Aeona is, for example, like you're literally not doing. You're not playing a hero if you do not have if you're not making the resources to spend
Hmm.
to push your big buttons and so on.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so essential.
I think it's pretty essential. Yes.
All right. Overcapping. So anything overcapping, healing overcap,
Yeah. Yeah.
resource overcap.
Yeah. So like, I think this is not like the first thing you need to know. Like, I think first you need to know, you need to know what your buttons do, and you need to know roughly like what the optimal like combination of them is to press and in what order and so on.
Hmm.
So like you can probably like slack a little bit and just like say at max charges of something or at max resources and whatnot for a while, and it's not gonna like completely tank your performance. But this is like one of the first things that you start like actually like optimizing your play from when you're starting out.
Yeah.
Like I always like write in like when I was like writing my guide on Aeona, like the rotational
Work in progress.
sort of like priority list. Yeah,
Yeah.
a little plug there. Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
But like the first thing always is just like do not fucking overcap on Krona.
Yeah.
Like it's just like you do not want to be wasting your resources. Like it just kind of like ties back to like how important resource generation is, but it's just like it's not gonna like completely kill you in terms of like your output if you like overcapping a little bit on something, but it's just like yeah, you want to start paying attention to that very soon. So I
Mm.
would put it in like high relevance, maybe. Yeah,
Hi. Okay.
yeah, but that's my base take, I think.
I would I would counter it in saying that it's very hero dependent, right?
Oh, for
Because
sure, for sure.
there's another thing on Savian that he has like these brilliant flash charges,
Hmm.
and one of them is capped. When you're capped, you can't get any more, but the other one is free
Yep.
to do whatever. You can overcap 20 and it doesn't really show, but you have 20 underneath like the tool or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So dependent on the hero. And I feel like for a beginner, I don't feel like overcapping is that punishing.
Yeah,
Because
it
if
really depends on the hero
Yeah,
and
I would put it
situation
one
you're in.
down just because it doesn't
Yeah,
really
that's
punish
fair.
all that much. And thinking
Mhm.
about its EHP season, overhealing is a big fucking thing. It doesn't
Yeah,
really make or break your gameplay if you overcap.
it's more situational for sure.
Mm.
Like, I would even say that depending on the situation, depending on what you're playing and where, like you might want to overcap very slightly. For example, on Aeona, like it might be a thing that you want to just like pull Krona a little bit in anticipation for a heal check.
Yeah,
Like still don't want to overcap, but like it might happen because of like what you need to do when you're not like completely sure like how much you need to, you know, meet
yeah.
the requirements ahead of you.
Okay. Uh,
But yeah, I'm happy with that.
GCD. How important is it to know what a GCD is?
I mean,
Global cooldown for those who don't know.
yeah, I would put it like maybe high because it's just like, you need to be pressing a button on, every GCD essentially.
Yeah, you don't want to waste GCDs because then
Yeah,
you
yeah.
lose. That's another word later. Uptime.
Hmm,
When
hmm.
you miss a GCD, you just lose so much potential because if a button is 100% of whatever damage output it has, losing one
Hmm.
GCD basically halves the output, right? Until next GCD,
Yep,
and then it goes
pretty
back up to
much.
66, and then you're kind of behind already.
Yeah.
Something like
Especially for
60.
casters, we like the basics that we try to drill into everybody's head is the ABCs always be casting.
Yes, always be
Because like
cheating.
casting
What?
something I
Is
don't know,
it
it's just like
always be
a lot of the
abusing?
time.
Well,
Yeah, yeah, also. But like a lot of the time it's just like even if you were to press something like that's not completely optimal, it is better to do that than to not press anything at all.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Just push
And
buttons, it'll be fine.
yeah, and then off GCD, and of course, if you have a GCD, off GCD means that ability you have doesn't really rely on the GCD being a thing. You can cast it whenever you like Skybolt.
Yeah, pretty much. For
Um,
example, yes.
yeah. So how important is it to play around that?
Well, when you think about like the ratio of like buttons that heroes in this game generally have that are on GCD versus like are off GCD, like OGCDs are a lot rarer. But and it's like on like a very base level, it might not be that like essential to like utilize them like to their fullest potential, which is to say like between GCDs. So I
Mm,
would put it maybe one lower than GCD.
yep. I'm good with that because you rarely
Uh,
think about the off GCD because you just know that
yeah,
you feel you have it available when you have it available.
yeah, yeah.
You don't have to
It's just like
think about it.
in Final Fantasy 14 circles, we called like using OGCD abilities like between GCDs or like in the
Mm,
downtime between GCDs, we called that weaving, and I
yeah,
think that term still like applies here.
yeah, for sure.
And it's just like once you actually have like a good feeling for your rotation and like know like which abilities are off GCD and what you can use where, it's just like it becomes the weaving becomes very natural.
Yeah. Channels versus open cast. And open cast, I just mean every other cast, like something
Yeah, yeah.
you just you know,
Just you have a cast bar and then if the spell completes when it's finished.
yeah.
Um,
So
I
how
think this is
important
like
is it to know the difference?
like I think of course this depends on like what kind of channel, like which hero you're playing with, for example. But I think it's like relevant, but not the most. It goes like into maybe moderate relevance, I think.
Hmm.
Because like if you interrupt a normal cast before it's finished, you're not gonna get anything out of it. But typically a channel, as long as you get like even one tick of the channel, whatever it is, like you're getting something out of it, but you still don't want to interrupt it.
Yeah. The most important thing
There's
might be that the open casts or normal casts don't
mhm,
typically have a cooldown. Some do, of
mhm,
course, where channels most often have a cooldown.
yeah. And with Aeona especially, like we actually have a channel that we can move
Yeah,
throughout.
yeah. Same with Ilarion, and I think Rhyme's channel is, stomped. You were
Yeah.
locked in place, boy.
Lamau, you sit there. But also,
Yeah.
like, there's like another thing about that, like, even though like when we're on Aeon channeling temporal barrage, like if we get hit with like any CC or like a knockback or anything, like that's still going to interrupt the channel.
Yeah.
Like you just need to be mindful of that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Charges kind of goes into overcapping, but
Yeah, and like there's maybe a little bit of like GCD, OGCD stuff in there.
mhm.
Yeah, I would put it in the same category, I think.
Okay. Or moderate.
Moderate, yeah,
Okay.
probably. Because
Burst
like again,
windows. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
oh, okay. Well, this is like important for DPS, but I do not have a DPS brain. I don't know how to play DPS, so.
Yeah.
But I
So
know that you know
yeah,
it's important.
what we usually mean with burst windows, just for the people who don't know, is a window where you do even more damage than usual. It's
Hmm.
usually very tight, very small. You might use an ability where within that ability's active, like activation window, you kind of want to do a bunch of stuff within that window before it expires, and it might be really tight. You might not be able to do everything you want to, but you kind of have to know exactly what to click in that window to
Hmm.
optimize. Um,
Yeah, or maybe you just have like multiple like maybe you have your ultimate and then some like cooldowns and whatnot like running at the same time to just like get maximum damage in that one short period of time.
yeah, you might get like a Draconic Might proc, and then you want to ult, so you have like triple main stat
Mm.
stacking for the
Ye-
optimal amount of time, and then within that window, you kind of want to fucking blast.
Yep.
But for a noob, how important is that to know about burst windows?
Mm, I think it should go into like higher relevance because this is like a rotational thing. Like you need to know like how to actually like optimize your damage
Hmm.
when it's like needed.
Yep, I'm good with that.
Yes, yes, yes.
Procs.
Oh god, okay.
What is a proc,
So
Mel?
hold on, what the fuck does the acronym actually stand for?
The proc per minute? No, that's ppm. Uh,
No, hold on. I'm gonna look it up because I can never fucking remember. Programmed random occurrence. That is what
yeah,
it means,
that's the
by the
one.
way.
Yeah, yeah. I never think
So
about
basically,
that.
yeah, it is like something occurring on a random chance. Basically, like it could be like a hero specific thing, or it could be like something that comes out of your gear. For example, the aforementioned Draconic Might is a
Yep,
proc.
yep. And some procs
Uh,
say how many times it procs per minute. Most passives in Fellowship says like brackets and then zero point 0.0 procs per minute or ppm. So it
yeah.
procs
Did you
about
know?
once a minute. Yep.
Did you know that some PPM effects are actually scaled based on certain stats?
What?
For example,
No.
Draconic Might is scaled based on your crit rate in a weird
Oh
way.
yeah, because it goes off crit. So the more you crit, the more
Yeah,
chance you have to proc it
yeah,
when it's like off cooldown. Yeah.
yeah. But it's
Yeah.
also just like in a weird way that it's not just like your crit percentage. It's also just like how many targets you're critting at all times.
Yeah.
So if you have big AOE, then you're
Yeah.
procking
Many
more.
chances. Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep.
So how important is that?
Mm.
Knowing about procs,
I
because
would
it's very DPS reliant.
mm,
You kinda have to know about it, just like with burst
for
windows,
sure.
because a proc can open your window.
Mm. Yeah, I would maybe put it in high.
Yep.
Because like again, it's like very character dependent.
Hmm.
Like you could be playing with like more relevant procs, like if your hero wants to play with like certain set effects and whatnot.
Mhm.
But like it's a bit like hero dependent, I feel.
Yeah.
But generally very important. Yes.
And into that, a buff and
Mm.
debuff tracking. It also goes into
I
procs
would.
and
Yeah,
burst.
yeah, 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 for sure.
Yeah.
Because
It's
it's kind of the
kind of,
same thing.
yeah.
But
But
there's like
especially debuff
more.
part there.
Oh, for sure.
Hmm.
Like again, like I could talk 50 million fucking hours about my entropic burst here because it's just like to keep stacking that I need to stay on track of like what the duration on my fucking entropy's claim is, so I know exactly when I need to refresh it, for
Yeah.
example.
Or Adios having to track his engulfing so he knows when to proc the
Yeah,
next ult and stuff like that so he can
yeah,
stack
yeah.
more engulfing. And yep.
It
Again,
is quite
it kind of has
relevant,
to,
I feel, yes.
it has to go in there.
But I feel like the game really makes this very difficult just
Mm.
because of like how the nameplates stack on like big polls, and it's just like, let's say you have like multiple dots on multiple targets. Like I remember SPT's Mara presentation about being like super fucking cross-eyed because of that.
Yeah.
Like what the hell? It
Yeah.
really doesn't do you no fucking favors with that. Like it is very
Give
difficult
us,
in certain situations.
please give us a white blacklist for fucking buffs, debuffs, man.
Yeah.
I don't need to know
And
about
also a
every buff.
focus target.
Yeah, for sure. Like focus targets should always be on top and at the bottom.
Mm,
So you can always like have it right there in eyesight.
yeah.
You shouldn't have to look up in the fucking sky to find the nameplate with your focus target
Oh,
up.
for sure.
Dots and huts.
Mm.
It's kind of debuff buff tracking. I feel like, but
It's kind of the same thing, yeah, but like this is also like very like sort of class relevant,
yeah,
or depending on like what character you're playing, like how relevant it is.
yeah, I don't
For
care
Iona
about
again,
either.
like it is very relevant
Sabian
because
doesn't care about it at
debuffs.
all. Yeah.
Yep, 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 yep.
Character aligned. I feel like
But
that goes in moderate, and right because it kind of depends on your character.
yeah, but I also feel like it is kind of
Mm.
for the characters that it is very relevant to, it is like very relevant. So it
Yeah,
maybe goes
Mara.
into high in my head,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, I'd be able. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. And it's just like, I don't know, like it's funny because like Sylvie is supposed to be the heal over time healer, but
Mm.
no, it was actually Aeona all along this season.
Oh no, Iona all
No, but
along.
it's funny because all of your damage over time effects are also heal over time effects because of the fucking, relay.
Yeah,
Hehe.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absorb shields, especially this season, this might be essential, but it's probably not essential.
Yeah, I would put it in high.
Yeah. And the caveat to that is knowing that shields take half damage. So a shield is double
Yeah.
the size than the shield on your faces,
Yeah, but it's also just like, it's just technically like more effective health. That's what EHP stands for.
Yeah. Effective HP.
Yes.
DR, damage reduction.
Like I feel like this is always relevant for tanks, like literally at any level, but for your like party, it becomes like more relevant the higher up you go,
Hmm.
I think. But I would say that it's pretty high relevance anyways,
Hmm.
because of like, you have to be thinking about ways to not take as much damage as you can as a tank at all times.
Yeah, and also your team. Like if you have no DR at all
Oh yeah.
and you just flop over and you just get, increasingly frustrated because you don't know why you're falling over, you probably have
Oh yeah,
no
for
DR.
sure. Oh yeah, and of course, like DPS need to learn how to press the defensives. Like they have
Yeah.
the
Oh,
personals for a
so it's
reason.
essential. Okay. Yep. That's essential. That's essential right there.
I
Yep.
mean, yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah.
Like,
Knowing what DR is it should be pretty essential.
especially this season when like neck trades are as powerful as they are. It's just like
Hmm.
I can immediately smell if my fucking DPS are not running the lake. Please run the lake. It is very good in like most cases,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. Prio damage.
Mm,
I
how do we
feel
actually like
like
quantify this?
if you're below 40, I feel like it actually doesn't matter all that much. Knowing that in a
Yeah.
pack something needs prio damage is all
Mhm.
well and good, but I don't feel like you get punished for not knowing the prio targets until you're pretty high up, because the
Yeah,
pack
and
will
also
die
like
almost no matter what.
it might be a little bit situational, like depending on your comp, depending on the affix, depending on the dungeon, like what even is the
Yeah.
priority target. Like
Yeah.
something like Desecrator is pretty much always like the first thing you want to kill, like regardless of what's going on.
Yeah, or high
But
HP mobs.
yeah, like also like if you're playing Stone Skin or something of the like,
Mm,
you might want to start the pull off by killing something that dies quickly just to get
yeah.
Stone Skin rolling.
Yeah.
Or like in some cases you just might want to like explode the biggest health mob so that everything dies insta, pretty much.
Yeah.
It depends. But
Yeah, but
yeah,
for,
it
for
might
like a
not
new
be like the
player,
most important, yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't be thinking too much because there's so many things going on. When you have the game down to, muscle memory, most
Hmm.
of this comes naturally, and you start
Oh
to
yeah.
focus on prior damage when you already have most of this down.
Yep, yep, yep.
I feel like. Uh,
Yeah, and again, like it's so like dependent on like a variety of factors.
yeah.
It's not like, yeah, okay, this is prior target every time, literally no exceptions.
Yeah, exactly, because different tanks, different DPS, all that
Yeah, yeah.
jazz.
Yep,
Core
yep, yep.
versus flex talents. And what does this mean, Smell?
Well, I feel like for a lot of heroes, we have like some talents that are basically like a part of every build that you literally just do not take off no matter what.
Mm,
While for a lot of heroes, you may have some very situational talents that you might want to run for a specific dungeon or with a specific team comp or for a specific affix and whatnot.
yeah, they're
And just like kind of
flexible.
knowing, yeah, kind of just like knowing like what you need and where. I feel like this is relevant, but maybe not that relevant. Like I feel like a lot of heroes in the game just
Talents do, but in that scenario, you don't really care about what's core and flex because everything is pretty much like
yeah, yeah,
homebrew. And if you're following a build, you don't really care what's core or flex because you're just running another guy's build. You don't have to know what
yeah,
a
pretty
core
much.
flex is.
Yeah, yeah,
So I would say that doesn't. I would actually say that this is one of the points that has no relevance for a new player.
yeah. That's probably true. But it's just like I'm like so terminally like plus 60 eternal brain that I sometimes do not remember to think about things from like the new player perspective. This is true.
Yeah, because I've played Iona and I don't know what the heck. I just follow the fucking guide, dude. I have no clue what I can swap around and whatever.
Yeah, like that's something that I actually get asked about a lot because like I literally change my talents for like literally every key that I do.
Yeah, how do
Like
you know what to
they're like
change?
because I play this hero for like upwards of 10 hours every day. I know what I'm doing, maybe.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's just, I don't know, it's just like that sort of like familiarity that you build over time. Just like you see, like, what are you going into, who you're going in there with. So you just kind of like learn to anticipate, like, okay, I maybe need this and this. Like, will this work in this situation? Maybe you know, maybe you don't.
yeah. But the required knowledge
Hmm.
to even put yourself in
It
that
is a lot.
mindset, it's kind of a lot.
Yep,
Um,
very much so.
it might
Yes,
be
I would
hard to
agree.
put it here. It could be in low, but I feel like it has no relevance if I'm being
No, it's
completely
just
honest.
like, as long as you just have like a functional build that you can run with, like it's fine enough. Like you
Yeah,
don't maybe need to know how it works exactly and why.
yeah. And with that said,
It's just like
how
next level
important
knowledge.
how important is meta builds to know
Meta.
about? Oh, what to
Not
go?
at all.
Not at all. All
But it's
right.
just like it's an unfortunate effect, I feel, because just like the top players are running the things they are running for a reason. They know exactly like what each part of their kit does and like why they have it. And it's just like a lot of those things might not be relevant at all for like the average player that's in like low or mid Eternals.
Yeah, or doing the pulls that the top players are doing because the top players are pulling
Yeah.
half a dungeon in one pull, so they need this
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
survive or whatever. And in lower Eternal, it just doesn't matter because the pack dies within two GCDs, right? So
Yeah. And also, like, they might have like a pre-made that they just run with like all times. They just always have the same comp and they're like optimized for that. Whereas like, the average player probably pogs a lot more and just plays with like a completely random or different team comp every time.
yeah, exactly. So meta builds
So it's
probably not
just
that relevant, right?
no. But it's just like, like people who are not at the top will always look at the players who are at the top and just like imitate, and that's just how it's gonna work. But it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it makes me sad personally because like I know why I'm running the things that I'm running. I have some sort of justification for it, but it's just like it might not be, the best for people in like lower channels.
Mm. Yeah,
And
100%.
they might not even like think about like why they would or would not run that. It is just what it is.
Wait, did the fucking stream just reset?
I think you had a little connection hiccup there, yeah.
Oh, well, good thing I am recording, so it doesn't matter.
Yippee.
Synergistic talents. So
Yeah, I
talents that
think because
synergize.
like I would say that it's maybe more relevant than the other two previous points, but
Yeah. Um.
because like you want to have a build. You don't want to just like pick random stuff, but it's not like maybe the most game breaking thing.
Yeah. Because that's probably the pre-stage to knowing what core and what's flex. It's when you have
Yeah,
talents who
yeah.
work well together. So maybe like low, yeah. Because
Yeah, I think
from a
that's correct.
Sabian point of view, like Invictus runs really well with anything that gives you more stats,
Yeah, yeah.
or allows
But
you
I
to
feel like
get more stats.
yeah, I feel like depending on the hero, there might be like some kind of like trap choices with that. You know,
Yeah,
well, I'm talking about Aeon because that's what I know.
yeah.
But it's just like you might have two talents that you see that they okay, they deal with like the same ability. So you figure like, okay, maybe they are like a thing that you run together. Let's go with like Oblivion's Embrace and Erasure because both of them deal with Oblivion. And like that's not like a far leap in logic to make, but it's just like I don't know. Just because they deal with the same button does not mean that they're like you want to always run them together or they're like perfect together or whatever the
Yeah,
fuck.
synergistic.
Yeah.
That's another video I'm gonna make at some point in near
Okay.
future. It's how to find
Ooh.
synergies, because it's kind of fun making
Yes.
builds when you find synergistic
Oh god, yeah.
traits and stuff. And it's half the fun of the new gearing system is the
Mm-hmm.
fucking bonkers combos you can make.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Target swapping. Um, Also tap
In what
targeting.
sense do I mean? Oh yeah. Oh my god, fuck tab.
Yeah, like when to swap targets or how to do it.
Yeah,
Again,
yeah.
if we mention the GOAT SPT, having to have one focus target, your prio damage
Mm-hmm.
target, and the stun target, like that's pretty important for him to
Yep.
know. But because he has to change targets depending on what he's doing. But how important is it for somebody who's really new, like when to swap
Yeah.
targets? For if it's like casting or kicking, that might be pretty
Mm-hmm.
important. But if it's for damage, it's like kinda it's gonna die anyways.
Yeah,
Uh,
like I guess like the most like relevant example of this would be just like focus kicks.
yep,
But it's
yep,
just like you're not even target swapping then, you're just like, putting a little head on whatever you're gonna kick and that's it. And then you can just be hitting whatever.
yeah. So I
Like
would probably put this on fucking no relevance.
yeah, no. It's probably not that like relevant.
Yeah, you can stay on the same target until it dies and then swap after that. Like, there's no reason to swap mid combat for most cases.
And you're going to if you're running something like Hunter's Focus, which is like, wants you to hit the same target till the end of time.
Yeah, yeah. And some people who run hunters just keep swapping anyways, right? So
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
that might
I
be
sometimes do
me.
also, but
It happens. Mouse
sometimes you have
over
to.
casting as an option for the game. So when you
Mm,
right click any ability in your tooltip or your action bar, sorry, most
mhm.
people know to get their spell bar up or spell book. And at bottom, you have a option for having mouse over casting. How important is this to know about? Like, you can assign specific abilities, or you can assign like every ability or specific ones to having a mouse over.
I think it's somewhat relevant because like there can be instances in which like you're just kind of like unknowingly mousing over something that you
Mm.
might not want to actually cast it on. You might want to actually cast it on your proper target instead of like wherever the fuck your cursor is. Like, so I would put it in like somewhat relevant, but it's just like, mostly it's just like another way to maybe sometimes like quickly hit something, maybe a different target than you're targeting currently with something specific.
Mm.
So it's not the most essential thing, but there's some relevance because sometimes it might put you into like very stupid positions where you're just like basically like sending an ability towards something that you really don't want to.
Yeah, but I think that makes it very like relevant, because even
Yeah.
for also as a quality of life thing, not knowing
For
about
sure.
mouse over casting as a either a single spell assigned thing or like
Mm-hmm.
global assigned. I think
Yeah.
there's an option for global assignment. I feel like knowing that as a quality of life is fucking relevant,
Mm-hmm.
especially for healers having D spells
Oh yeah, for
or
sure.
tanks having like CCs. Because if you're running shackle on a tank, having the mouse
Mm-hmm.
over on the shackle and just having the ability to stun something without having to swap targets
Yep.
if you have hunter's focus, that's so
Mm-hmm.
nice. The same with healing a Savian, it's so nice having to just mouse over instead of having to click somebody and then click back on my
Oh, for
target.
sure.
So I kind
And
of feel
like,
like that's essential to know about, or
oh
maybe
yeah, for sure.
high.
I say hi, yeah,
Yeah,
because
okay,
like
yeah,
especially on a healer, it is like kind of essential because like you don't want to like swap off of the target that you're DPSing,
yeah.
but you can also like you don't have to just like find everybody's fucking models and the fucking thick of the pole and whatnot. Like you can
Yeah.
just hover over the party frames, which you will be doing about like 90% of the time, I think,
Yep.
maybe more probably.
Line of sighting LOS.
I would say
Knowing.
it's.
Yeah, go ahead.
hmm, There's some relevant like instances of it, and which like if you're a tank, you should probably not be trying to line aside your healer, for example.
Yeah, and that goes for both outranging and going
Yeah,
behind
yeah.
walls. Yeah.
But like as kind of like a pool gathering tool where you have some like ranged mobs or caster mobs and you're like trying to gather the pole as a tank,
Mm,
like that's sort of like more advanced. So I would say it's relevant, but not that relevant. But it's
moderate.
just like you don't want to lose your healer ever.
Yeah. But you do
So for
want to
that, I
know
would put
about
it pretty
things you
high.
can LOS, like a AoE that you can
Yeah.
LOS. That's very nice to know about. It's not essential, but it's pretty nice, right?
No. Like for example,
Mm-hmm.
in the two new Hesku dungeons, the big blood
Oh.
elementals called Tartarot. Did you know that you can LOS blood boil?
Yeah.
You don't actually have to deal with it at all if you can just like go hide behind a fucking wall during the cast.
And it's a super efficient mob to pull. It's very efficient.
Yeah, because it gives a lot of blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Positioning in general.
In general, yeah. I would put it like in pretty high relevance. This is like also like very much relevant if you're playing Vigor or with a Vigor because they are effectively a positional affix unto themselves.
Yeah, or
Because a lot
Mara,
of their
that's having
heals
to
like
backstab.
require, yeah, yep. Like there's a lot of that shit. So you need to kind of just like know where you can and should stand.
Hmm?
More relevant on certain heroes for sure.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
would say it's
it's pretty. I'm trying to think of a situation where you wouldn't really have to position. I'm trying to put myself in the mindset of a new player. Like, again, on a tier list of what's most important to learn about,
mm,
there's a lot of boss fights where you have to be standing in a very specific spot to
oh for
not
sure.
kill yourself.
And there's like a lot of very like position dependent enemy abilities and boss abilities. Like
Yeah,
for
baiting
example, things
frontals.
yeah, yeah, and like desecrator soaks like appearing like in a radius around any player, for
Mm.
example.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's just
exactly.
like stuff like that. Like that's all kind of like advanced shit, but it's just like on a base level, it's still like very important. Like you need to be like within range to actually hit your target and to be able to like reach your party members and whatnot, but you need to also like not stand in shit. So that's kind of essential, yeah.
That's pretty high. Essential? Yeah, yeah. I would actually, yeah.
Do not stand in puddle bad.
Wait, it says copyright up here. Copyright.
Okay.
Yes. Hitboxes and model range. It goes back to the point I said
Mhm.
at the very beginning, but I'm just gonna reiterate. When
Yes.
you're targeting a mob with a really, really big model,
Mhm.
the hitbox starts from the center of the model, not the outside. So if you have
Yeah,
an
yeah.
ability where it's like AoE based, it can hit multiple targets or like unlimited targets. It's very, very important to know that the hitbox starts from the middle of the model, because either way you're
Yeah, you
gonna
need to be all
lose
the
a
way in there.
lot of damage, yeah, or healing, or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like
Yeah.
it's not very important for healers at all. For
Probably
tanks, it's
not,
kind of
no.
nice to know. For Sabian, it's very important, like 1 or 2 abilities. It's not really that important.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think of instances where it might be relevant for like heal as well. I guess Vigor has the fucking balls that they keep throwing.
We can include in the hitboxes. We can include like frontal hitboxes. That some
Mm.
boxes go a little further out, or like a little
Oh yeah.
tinier, or like wider than their indicator is. Uh,
Yeah, some of them can be like Z-axis and whatnot. Like
yeah,
weird stuff like that.
that's very, but that's yeah, again, that's
Yeah, that's advanced.
very advanced. Yeah,
Yep.
that's one of the
But
things
like
that
there's levels to this thing.
there's a lot of levels to hitboxes. But for like new player, I feel like it's very nice. It's probably just nice to know that
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
model's hitbox is at the middle and not at the edges.
Yeah. I would say maybe it's moderate then.
Yeah, uh, it's especially for like heroes that rely on hitting a lot of targets with a few
Mm.
abilities. Then knowing that you have to hit something in the middle of the pack, standing physically in the middle and not at the edges, that's
Oh yeah.
pretty good to know. Um, spell
For sure, for
queuing.
sure. Oh, I get cocked by this shit like every day. It's so bad.
Yeah. So you can put things, spells and abilities. You can put them in a queue. That if you click them while the GCD is going on, if you click it,
For cast time.
yeah, or cast time, yeah. If you click it a little before the cast or the GCD finishes, you will then queue that ability to be the next one. So you don't have to click
Mhm.
exactly when the GCD or the cast finishes. You can click a little before, and then that's the next ability that happens. And I feel like in this game that it's very, very reactive. In WoW, it's almost like half a second of queuing, and
Mhm.
it feels horrible. It feels
Oh yeah, for
fucking
sure.
horrible. Um, but spell queuing
The
or
thing is,
mhm.
like if you're playing with like variable haste, if you have any like haste procs or something, like there's something that causes your haste to be higher or lower than it normally is. Like spell queuing becomes like kind of weird because like you always kind of have like a baseline vibe for like when you're okay to press the next spell and it will queue as you expect it to. But then if you get like a haste proc or whatever and your haste is higher than it usually is, then it's just like that that timing changes slightly. And
Or
because I'm like the
massively.
fucking yeah. I'm the fucking king of haste procs. I'm the fucking filthiest haste stacker in the land.
Mhm.
I'm playing with Wayfarer. I'm playing with Dark Prophecy. Like I have everything that you could possibly have for haste procs.
Hunter's focus.
So I often get like very bamboozled by spell keys,
Mm,
especially because of the fucking FPS issues. Because I feel like that just causes some like weird input lag,
it does, yeah.
and sometimes sometimes it's just like I click like the wrong thing too fast, and then I queue a different thing, and then it's just like that's not what I wanted to queue, and now my whole
GG.
rotation is literally ruined.
Now my entropic burst went from 18 to 8. No.
No, it is
What it's
literally
called.
zero, and I am
Yeah.
logging off and uninstalling the game.
I think this is something that's pretty high relevance.
Yeah, like you need to like at least have some sort of like intuitive understanding of like how it works to
Yeah.
just press the correct buttons when you want to press them.
Yeah, or knowing that you don't have to wait for the fucking wheel to stop spinning before you can click the next ability. You can actually
No, for sure,
optimize.
yeah.
You can actually remove time on that queue thing or on the
Hmm.
spinny if you just click during the queue spell queue window. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good thing to mention that it varies heavily.
Yeah, like there's a lot of factors that just contribute to like making it feel very slightly different, like
Yes,
just within a dungeon run.
and one of those factors is the next point: input buffering or VSync
Ugh.
in your options. If you're
Oh
in
my
game
god.
or can go in game, not you, Smell, just people. If there's an option for VSync, this is an option that syncs up your screen to your actual like game. In case you have like a monitor that has a different syncing frame rate than your game or your PC or whatever, this option will give you input buffer because there's a slight difference between your clicks and what's happening in the PC for some reason, and this can give you latency on your buttons. It can give you up to like I think it's kind of a lot on some in some cases.
Hmm.
It varies, of course. depending on hardware and your connection, whatever. But in online games, the VSync option can give you almost 0.3 or 4 seconds on your button presses.
Yeah.
It's kind of a lot. It also goes into your movement and stuff. If you have VSync on, you might be moving slightly after you actually click a button and stuff. It can be horrendous with lag, especially
Mm-hmm.
FPS lag. You can click a button and like
Yes.
almost half a
Oh
second
my
after you can
god.
start moving. So turn VSync off. Turn it the fuck off when you play online games.
Yes, I think it's quite relevant indeed.
Yeah, that's probably essential. That's probably
Like
essential.
especially if you're playing with like something that tanks your performance and maybe you're like I don't know, you're getting pinged because you're playing on a different server
Can I change this? Actually, I'm gonna
than you
change this.
probably are closest to.
Yeah, I'm gonna change the input buffering and vsync off. Probably a little easier to.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Right. Precasting. I
Okay,
think
what do we mean by this?
I think it's the same as input buffering
Okay, okay, yeah.
or spell queuing. As we're gonna ignore
Mm-hmm.
that one. We
Okay,
still have
okay.
a lot to go. Went back up. Hello, what the fuck?
It does not behave.
It wants to be next, I guess.
Okay.
I won't allow it. Priority mobs / casts. This is mostly for the people who have kicks and CCs. So also Iona with your little silence.
Yes, and that it's actually not an OGGD like every other kick in the game, and it also has a 5-minute fucking cooldown baseline, which is great. Can you please buff
Yeah.
this ability CR maybe?
Hello, yeah. It also like priority casts on mobs also goes into the
Mhm.
healing and knowing when a priority mob starts casting something that you can't interrupt, like the gore
Yeah,
stained butchers. When they use tantrum, you kind of need to know it's coming out and what it does, so you can prepare for it
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
react to it.
Yeah, like maybe you have like a dice assigned. Like, okay, when the butcher starts casting tantrum, somebody presses a dice, or like maybe if you are such a healer that has externals to give you a tank, like maybe the tank wants the external when he's getting minced and whatnot. You know, shit like
Yeah,
this.
I feel like that's high prio, right? Knowing
Yeah, yeah,
priority
yeah.
mobs and casts, because
I
again,
think it's like maybe moderate because
all
like
right.
it starts only becoming like relevant once you go higher up.
Hmm.
It's sort of like in the same category, I feel like just like knowing what you actually should be kicking and on what kind of a priority and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it's just like it just doesn't really matter in low Eternals. You can just kind of like get away with anything. You can get away
Yeah,
with
but that's
murder.
why I would wanted to put it like one higher because
Yeah,
knowing that you can ignore it because it doesn't do much on Eternal is one thing, but getting to
true.
Eternal for the first time and having to learn what that it does so that you can ignore it is probably a pretty
Mm-hmm.
good practice to have, because ignoring something
Yeah, yeah.
because you don't know what it does, that's like the way to die in High Eternal, right?
Oh, for sure.
But I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, maybe it should be high relevance because it's also just like, if there's like group damage happening, like everybody needs to do something about that usually. Like DPS need
Mm.
to press their personals, like maybe
Or
tank uses
dice.
some kind of a cooldown. Yeah, there's also always a dice and just like healer needs to like prepare some resources to just heal through that and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like it requires action from everybody pretty much.
Yep. Interrupt priority. So
Mm,
it also goes into prior mobs and casts. But interrupt
yeah.
priority, especially for cast enemies that have multiple casts, like
Mhm.
the Whisperers in Ransack. They have 3 casts.
Yep.
They have a Shadow Bolt, they have Silence, and they have a Fear. Knowing
Yes.
which one is most important is kind of important to know in
Yeah.
Eternal, because
It could be the difference between a wipe and a living.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I would put that in high prio just because, or high
Yeah,
relevance,
yeah.
because kicking a firebolt or a arsonist frontal, it's just like, what are you doing? You just wasted
You
your
can just
kick.
move out of it.
Yeah. Um, and
But
priority is a
yeah.
different than the next one, which is interrupt assignments.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's a very neat thing. It's shown in the tutorial for the game in Fellowship. You can literally put your face on whatever the fuck you want to kick. If there's a
Yes.
mob that has a kick, you can put your face on it so people can see your cooldown on the kick and what you're kicking.
Mm-hmm.
It is so nice. It's such a quality of life, such a nice quality of life thing that I hate going back to WoW when I don't have it. So I can't see my teammates' cooldowns. I don't know what they're kicking. I feel like this is fucking essential in my eyes, just because I want
Yeah,
people to
pretty
use it
much.
more.
Yeah, and like in certain like dungeons, for example, like Worm Hearts and Stormwatch and whatnot, like you have to discuss with your group like who is kicking what ability.
Yeah, that's the next one. That's the interrupt rotation.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, okay, so that's kind of like I mean I guess it's kind of the same. Like I would say that there's just like two sides of the same idea.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I would say the interrupt assignment is putting your
Mhm.
face on something, and the priority
Okay,
of
yeah, fair
the
enough. I
rotation
see.
is who kicks what.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And there's a few ways to do this, and I think this will be like a break point between what category put it
Mhm.
in. Because
Yeah,
there
yeah.
are different ways to handle a boss like Stormwatch, where you have
Mhm.
2 DPS kicks and a tank kick.
Yep, yep,
Because
yep.
most people can just, okay, you have a Gunday, melee kick is 16 seconds. The what's it called? The arc spark, or what it was called.
Uh,
It's
Good
16.
arc, yeah.
Yeah, exactly that one. It's 16-second cooldown. A melee DPS kick can kick it every single time, and then range
Mhm.
and tank can do the other ones. The
Yeah,
charge
the bolts.
bolts.
Yep.
And then the other one is the more advanced one, where the tank always kicks when he has kick. When tank doesn't have kick, DPS melee DPS kick, and when
Yeah.
melee and tank doesn't have kick, range kick. So
Yup, yup.
for pogging as a new player, that's kind of hard to
Yeah.
organize.
For
So
sure, but it's just like you have in certain situations, I feel like you have to like at least like base level discuss with your group like what the fuck you're doing.
yeah, for sure. And say it. Just saying in the chat, I take this ability. Cool,
Yeah,
nice, thank you. You had the
nice.
freaking
You
mist.
have passed.
Good, good on you. So I would put it in high.
Yep, I would put it there as well.
Yeah, with your kick trinket relic.
Mhm.
Stops in quotations. So
Yeah. So.
what do I mean with stops? I mentioned before in Fellowship, every
Mhm.
single CC counts as a kick or a stop. And certain CC can also stop things that you can't kick. Like certain mobs have like unkickable casts that can't be CC'd, and some mobs have unkickable casts that can't be CC'd. So
Mhm.
a stop just stops everything, except for
Except
CC
if
immune,
yes,
which Grand Melee can stop.
DP
Fuck Grand
Buffalina, by
Melee.
the way.
Oh my god. Just give her 2 Grand Melees, dude. Just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
give her
Just two
more.
charges. Why not?
Yeah. Well, why not give her 3 and a legendary that gives her a
Mhm.
4th one, you know?
But it's also like I think it would be so good if the game actually had like some kind of a fucking indication in game like which mobs are like immune to CC instead of having to like trial and error. Like, okay, I can't actually stun this.
Yeah. Depends on how they would show it.
I would just like maybe some little icon like
Mm.
on their like uniframe or something. Just
Yeah.
anything.
Oh yeah, yeah, because well, isn't that in the WoW has the indicator for elites, I think.
Yeah.
They have an indicator for certain mobs that can't be CC'd. Or they
Hmm.
call them officer types. They have a subtype called officer,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think. But I
Hmm.
don't think you can show that in base WoW. I think you need add-ons for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could change the color of the mob in Fellowship, like on a nameplate. Like they have
Hmm.
like a little icon
Yep.
or a color
Just
change.
something, some visual indicator that like, okay, this guy's CC immune. Just don't stun or whatever.
Yeah.
It's wasted.
So how important is it to know that's what a stop is?
I think it is highly relevant because it's just like, it's like kind of like the other fucking side of the CC game, and like in addition to like kicking specific like prior casts and whatnot, like there are some mobs that absolutely need to get stopped like when they start casting something that is like unkickable. Thinking
Yep.
about something like the fucking dire wolves and whatnot.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, hi Insta. Yep, I
Yeah.
agree.
And it's just
Uh,
like every fucking DPS has some sort of a stop, and like all tanks have something.
hmm?
So you kind of like the higher you go, like the more on point you need to be. Just like assigning like who gets what, and
Yeah,
like you need to pull like you need to plan your pulls around like, do we actually have stops to just like deal with this many wolves? Like, is this feasible to pull? Do we just pull 7 wolves?
yeah. It goes into routing as well. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Next one is soft and hard CC. That's kind of the same. I'm gonna skip that one.
Hmm.
Chain pulling,
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
mostly for the tanks, but also the idea.
Yeah.
Porky talked about that on the last episode of Fellow
Hmm.
Yap. That chain pulling, the idea is that when you have a pack and it starts to die, you go to the next pack so that you can have the maximum amount of output for your group for the
Yeah.
maximum amount of time, so you don't have like downtime.
Hmm.
I don't, I've,
Even more relevant if you're playing with stone skin because you always want to have stone skill value rolling.
yeah, we have a lot left of them left. We might have to do them a little quicker. You can see we have a lot
Okay,
of
okay.
them here.
Okay.
But Spitfire chain pulling probably moderate. I mean, I feel like moderate is mostly a tank thing.
I think it's low or moderate because it's just like you can time dungeons in lower tunnels without having to like chain pull out of your
Yeah,
fucking mind all the time. So
easily.
it's not the most important thing, I feel.
Yeah, body pulling. There's a
Oh yes,
reason I
or
call
ass
my
pulling as we
healer.
like to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I call my healer. My healer is called Body Pull Kylie. So
Oh my Hi Kylie.
Hi Kylie. Don't feel like this has any relevance. Low relevance maybe, because
Yeah, like you need to know that you will aggro mobs if you walk into them, but just like
yeah,
is that like obvious already?
yeah. Or if you run in front of the boss, not the boss, run in front of the tank, you will pull,
Hmm.
and they cannot take it back unless they dismount. It's kind of annoying, but it's not really that
Yeah, yeah.
relevant.
Yeah, it's just like, you can recover from some ass pulls maybe.
Mm. This one is a long one. Does it show the entire text? No. This one says ability type, which
Hmm.
is like soak, spread, fixate, these kind of types of abilities. How important is it to
Mm.
know which type of ability is? Because the
I think
game
it's
is pretty good at showing you what a soak is. Like it always has the same indicator with the arrows going to the middle.
yeah, yeah, and when you have like a AoE that's gonna land at a specific time, you have the like expanding circle, like going
Yeah,
to the edges of the AoE and so on and so forth.
yeah.
But like there's some like dimensions to this because like we have the neck trade, the lake, which like gives you DR against AoE effects, but it's just like it's not always obvious like what counts as AoE.
Mm, yeah,
For
and what is
example, dots are
targeted?
not AoE.
Yeah, they're targeted, single
Always.
targeted.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, an area of
So
effects is.
I think it's not like the most relevant thing in the world, but it's just
Hmm.
like would it be
Um,
moderate maybe?
unless it's like also for casts, like ability types, like you want to know when a mob is casting something, is that gonna be a soak or is it gonna be a cast or a spread mechanic or something? Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
like the wolves, like seeing a wolf cast and knowing that's the fixate, like that's the name of the ability of the fixate.
Yeah.
That's probably moderate.
Yeah, I feel confident with that.
Hmm. Ad management, so that
Mhm.
or mob management. That's mostly for tanks,
Yeah.
but managing the positioning of
Mhm,
mobs
mhm,
in a pack, and making sure you do the correct stops and you do the correct CCs and that you
mhm.
bundle them all up so that the hitboxes are all like mixed together. It's
Yeah, yeah.
kinda advanced because you can just stand still and it's fine for the majority of the time.
Yeah.
Um,
I think
it's not super relevant.
maybe it's like low as a whole. I don't know.
Yeah, because
Like
it's
it.
mostly for tanks, so it
Yeah.
doesn't really go for all the other roles that much.
Yeah. For sure.
Healer thing: cleanse or dispel priority. What to dispel and what not to dispel. Heartstopper, for example. Let's take that one as an
Yeah. Okay. My
example.
fucking favorite.
Yeah. What's so special about Heartstopper in Silicon?
The most relevant thing is that in the fucking current meta of the game, we route Silken in the way that pulls like literally every fucking recluse in the dungeon, but let's not get into that. But the funny thing about that ability is that it like basically accelerates the XP rate, like depending on how many stacks of it you have. So if there's 3 stacks on someone, they're in big danger, and you need to like dispel them soon, and you need to know that. So dispels are actually like dispellable effects are indicated in the UI of the game with like a blue border around the debuff icon on the party frames. So that's how you know like for sure you can dispel something.
Hmm.
As opposed to like bleed effects, which cannot be dispelled, they usually have like a red border. But yeah, like I think it becomes like very immediately relevant to know like what you need to be dispelling.
Yeah.
What like Heartstopper is a very good example because that will just outright fucking kill someone if you
Hmm.
let it expire
Yeah,
without
and it's
dispelling
very
it.
easy to miss if you're new, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. And for example, on sailors, on the boss, you have Undertow, which is like
Yeah, pretty
once per
important.
cast, it targets like 2 different players, and it drops a debuff, like drops a puddle once the debuff expires or is dispelled. So you actually have to like, there's a lot of steps that goes into handling it.
Yeah, or the
So
bomb in
yeah.
Godfall Quarry.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, knowing you have to dispel your DPS because he's standing in the back jumping. I was like,
Yeah, yeah,
oh.
yeah. But like, it might be also like a DPS things you worry about in instances where you have to like run mass dispel on a DPS.
Hmm. Yeah, Wormheart with the or Sith rolls.
Yeah, Wormheart or like usually also Sailors and Selkin
Yeah.
because of the type of routing that we do this season.
Yep.
But yeah, I would put it in high relevance because like that shit will just outright kill people if you do not know how to handle it and
Hmm.
are like not staying on top of it.
And in case you don't like dispel, also like damage buffs, like in
Hmm.
Wave Tide with the golems, sands as well,
Hmm.
or the
Yeah,
money,
yeah,
the gold bags.
yeah. Like there have been like cases in which like my DPS literally asks me to like dispel the fucking gold off of them because they're so slow and they cannot keep up with the chain.
Yep.
But that's usually, just something that you typically like communicate
Hmm.
in organized play.
Yep. And that goes into like routes. Um,
Oh yeah.
how important for a new player? Let's just for let's keep in mind that the route is
Hmm.
literally highlighted on the lower leagues.
Oh yeah, for sure. That gives you like a default that you can start from.
Yeah, from a tank perspective, I don't feel like knowing how to dungeon route is that
Hmm.
important like at all until you
No,
get
not
to
when you're starting out.
no, and you pretty quickly like catch up on like you know
Yeah.
when you diverge from the path, you're gonna be missing something, so you have to pull something else. You kind of pretty quickly realize this is like it's very low on the priority of
Yeah, yeah. I would say low relevance maybe. Because
yeah.
like the thing you need to worry about baseline is just getting to 100% kill count. That's what you need to do, and everything else is just extra.
Yeah, and what's more important than dungeon routes is what mobs do. So if you don't know what a mob
Yeah, for
does, you
sure.
can't really do dungeon routing.
Oh, for sure.
Cooldown pulls. A pull you do to get your
Hmm.
cooldowns back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
For a noob, I would never think about this. Like
Yeah,
almost
no.
never.
It's also just like, like optimally you want to just like, okay, we're pulling a big pull now. You want your DPS to have like cooldowns to send there, maybe ultimates and whatnot. So
Yeah,
it's just like you need to route around those types of things when you actually need to be efficient, but it's just like it's not that important at a base level.
yeah, you don't do it unless you're on a higher difficulty already or in a pre-made group, right? Because when you're
Yeah,
in
for
pugs,
sure.
you never know what the tank does, so you just send whenever.
Yeah, yeah. Like unless your party is literally just like all clicking their like cooldowns at all times to let you know like what the cooldowns actually are, then you
Yeah.
don't know.
And even if my DPS like links his ability, I'm like,
Hmm.
I don't have my ability, so I can't pull more, you know?
Yeah. You're not in
Uh,
sync.
no. Skips in general, like how to do skips, where they are, how they
Oh yeah.
work, relic skips, normal skips, like if you can route
Hmm.
behind something, and it's kind of a thing I feel like you learn passively, and you
Yeah.
don't.
You see somebody just like doing escape and then you're like, oh okay, I can just jump there, that's cool.
Yeah, cool. I don't think it's
But like
really
you don't need it.
necessary for like the majority of the game.
Yeah. It's kind of like baked into like routing. Like, if you want to like pull this, and this, then you need this and this relic for it, or you need to do like a
Yeah,
specific jump skip.
so low.
I would maybe put it even lower. Like, you just don't need to know about it baseline, but you just kind of like organically learn.
Yeah. So even though streamers and like high tier players, they always do skips.
Hmm.
It's such a it's not really a prerequisite to play the game like at all. Like you
Yeah,
don't. There's
it
more
helps,
stuff here you
but
have to know about, like fucking
oh, for sure.
interrupts, man.
You need to kick.
Kick your fucking nut.
Yes.
Resets. How to reset bosses. Resetting a pack. Resetting the dungeon.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I would
resets in
maybe put
total.
that into like the lowest category as well, because it's
Yeah.
just like that is like very advanced tech. Because like I don't know, like baseline, you don't ever need to reset anything for like the express purpose of like achieving something. I would put it maybe even lower. Do you think?
Yeah. I would keep it low because
Okay.
in terms of resetting a dungeon,
Oh yeah, for sure.
you have to like also like in dungeon with mobs and packs and whatever, but resetting
Mhm.
a dungeon does not mean you have to leave a fucking group.
Oh yeah,
Just
for sure.
stay with the group, do a dungeon again. It's fine. This game is literally made for resets. It's fucking made to do it.
Fucking GG, go again, whatever. There's
Yeah.
literally nothing to lose but like a bit of time.
5 minutes tops, like 5 or 6 minutes.
If even that.
Yeah. Playing around dungeon modifiers. Stone Skin, Orbs,
I would
Shadow
put.
Lord.
Okay, so because like most affixes like demand that you do something about it.
Hmm.
Like uh, let's
Orbs, you have
like
to
for
keep them.
example orbs, yeah, like you literally just die if you do not kill the orbs.
Yeah, can't ignore them.
But like yeah. Like that's the sort of affix you can't ignore. And also just like Shadow Lord, like you cannot complete the dungeon unless you kill the two like emissaries.
Hmm. And know that
But
the
then
affixes
there's
give you a bonus. Like they all give
yeah, of
you
course.
some sort of buff.
Yeah. But then there's things that just kind of like happen regardless of what you do about them. For example, like Stone Skin.
Hmm.
Like if you know what it does and if you know how to play around it, it makes your dungeons run so much easier. But it's just like you don't have to do that.
Yeah. Same with the blood
So
shots. You can play around it, but it
yeah,
doesn't really matter. Just do what you do
I
normally,
mean,
and just be careful,
yeah.
just not die killing everything at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Bloodshot's got like overly nerfed, but yeah, I would put it maybe there because it's just like playing around implies like some sort of intent
Yeah,
and not
and that
just like
requires
doing the bare
routing.
minimum to complete it. Yeah.
Hmm. And most of them you'll do passively. But
Yeah.
I would put it here because Storm Shield.
Oh yeah.
So many people just run away from each other and just die. Like, oh, what killed me? Did I have like a
Yeah.
debuff? No, nope. You're just stupid.
You're gonna struck by lightning, brother.
Yes. Threat and aggro. So,
Hmm.
it is. It would take a long time to explain exactly how it works, but
Yes.
the I think the takeaway from for now is that usually your tank has aggro, but if you do an
Hmm.
obscene amount of single target damage, you can rip it away from him.
Hmm.
Normally, one GCD, it's back on a tank again. It doesn't really matter. The important thing is in tandem with body pulling,
Hmm.
the first target a mob sees get a huge amount of threat.
Yep.
It's made for the tank. Never run in front of the tank. And if you see a nameplate getting yellow or changing color, just take a few steps back.
Yeah, or like if you happen to like accidentally aspel something, like maybe don't
Yeah.
run away from the tank so they can actually do something about that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, dude, holy shit! I played with a. Uh, he played Adios for a little while, and whenever he
Hmm.
got aggro, he would just run to fucking Narnia, and I could do nothing
Oh yeah.
about it. Little Savian, I'm in my turtle shell, I'm in my home, I can't run after him and take aggro. That's just
Yeah.
GG. Get in here. Just run close to your tank. You're fine. It doesn't. It doesn't really play all that much of a part for most people. It'll happen sometimes, but
Yeah. It's just like you just need to know like how to not deal with it pretty much.
yeah. Oh, hey yo, a little prime sub. Thank you, Seaway Game. Thank
Oh.
you, buddy. And welcome. Next one, active mitigation. What does that mean, Smell?
Yeah, what does it mean? What do we mean by that?
So I think it's kind of the same as
Personals and stuff?
DR,
Yeah, yeah.
but I think the idea with this was more like that you actively want to mitigate things,
Oh, yeah, yeah, okay.
and you
Makes
don't want
sense.
to just take something natural because you can. You kind of want
Mhm.
to use your defensive and stuff
Oh, for
for
sure.
even mundane abilities because it can help. It's very situational.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you might have some really high damage events like the second boss in Tide, where
Mhm, for
everybody
example, yes.
knows they're gonna go low. But you can also
Mhm.
just have a pull you've done 1,000 times and suddenly it just fucking hurts out of nowhere.
Uh-huh.
So I think the idea with the active mitigation was you have to be aware that any pack can potentially do damage to you.
Yeah, and I guess just, like, being cognizant of, like, what can potentially hurt you so you know, like, what you even, like, look out for when you're, trying to plan out, like, where to press your defensive and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time in, like, lower eternal and leagues, like, I see damage happen to DPS for some reason, and the damage has already happened, and then they press the defensive. It's just like, it's not gonna help you at all if you don't do preemptively, you know?
Yeah. Use it after the event has happened. It's like,
Yeah.
dude. That's kind of what I mean. So I think with the DR, I meant like the idea of what DR is.
Mhm.
Damage reduction
Yeah,
is
yeah.
flat removing damage, while
Yes.
active mitigation is taking a conscious action to mitigate some
Mhm.
event of damage, right?
Yeah. I
Um,
would put it maybe in high relevance
yeah.
because it's just like you need to know what to look out for pretty much,
Okay.
I
Uh,
think.
yeah, I agree. Kiting, mostly a tank thing, but for
Mhm.
certain mobs like the sibling, disciple sibling, uh,
Yeah.
kiting
It requires
or Sith
some
trolls.
Yeah, yeah, it requires some, like, combined efforts, on part of, like, whoever is, like, baiting and also the tank and also the party to not stand in the fucking sibling AoE and whatnot. There's a
Yeah,
lot of moving parts there.
yeah, and
But I
knowing that
feel
you have
like
like a crystal on you in Sith rolls or
yeah.
Wormheart, and not
Yeah, yeah, the
going in
orbs,
like walking into the fucking orb,
orbers.
you know.
Yep, yep, yep. I feel like, as a tank technique, it's kind of advanced.
Yeah,
But,
it's
like, the orbs as a mechanic, they just requires that baseline, so I would put it in maybe moderate relevance.
yeah, I agree. Because kiting in this season is something different. It's not really kiting; it's called desyncing.
Mhm, mhm.
It's very different because kiting just means you want to move away from the pack so you can like get a little bit of space and like move them out of
Yeah,
certain things. But desyncing is
for
something
example
completely different. You don't want all the ads to attack at the same time, so you want to
oh, yeah,
like
for sure.
desync half of the pack, and it's really advanced.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That also happens with the fucking ice affix, and it's really funny when tank just
Mm.
gets vaporized after the fucking ice stun.
Yeah. And that's one of the events where you have to desync instead of kite.
Yeah.
So you want
Yep, yep,
to
yep, yep.
walk into one half of the pull and let the other half come in later, and
Mhm,
it's
mhm.
kind of it's weird. I
Yeah, but
think
it's
that's
advanced.
it's very advanced. It
Yep,
doesn't
yep.
matter for a new player.
Mhm.
But the idea of tank busters,
Yeah,
um,
okay.
and I put this in as well as a normal point because some tank busters are also AOE's, like a
Mhm.
soakable tank buster or a
Oh,
tank
yeah.
buster you don't want to soak but is an AOE, like these kind of things. Like the tank buster on ruins, the big
Oh,
slam
yeah.
that the ruins boss does. It has a
Yep.
purple color. Knowing that hits underneath the model and a little behind the model as well is kind
Yeah, and
of
in, like, a
important.
very wide arc.
Yeah, it's 180 degrees, man. It's fucking wide.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
also, like, one of my favorite tank bosses, not favorite, oh, I hate it. Like, it's so weird, but the waterfall boss, like, basically the second boss in, Bransack. Like,
the
it
what?
puts the little
Oh,
puddle under the tank
yeah.
first, and then
Mhm.
there's, like, a little delay, and then the damage actually happens.
It's so
And it is
fucking
also, like
stupid.
yeah, yeah. You can just walk into that if you are somebody who is not the tank.
Yeah, and luckily they changed the model for it, because last
Mhm.
season it looked like a soak, but it wasn't a soak.
Oh yeah.
It wouldn't matter if you
You're
soaked.
dead.
It didn't change. You just fucking die.
Yeah, yeah.
And this season,
Oopsie.
luckily they changed that, so
Yeah, yeah.
it's good. But that boss, they have to rework that boss, dude. I
Oh yeah.
despise it. It's horrible. If it lasted
But
like half
go
as
on.
long, would be fine. But because it's the longest fucking fight in the game as well, it's like, oh.
Yeah. It is a little bit
um,
painful
yeah. So,
if you
but
have like literally any movement like limitations on your character.
yep. But tank bosses, I would put it low, because most of them are like choreographed pretty well.
Hmm.
It doesn't look like anything you want to stand in, anyways.
Yeah, yeah.
So new players probably avoid them by accident, anyways, or by like
Yeah,
muscle
it's just like,
memory.
okay, there's a circle there. Maybe I
Yeah.
don't stand there. All right.
Yeah.
But then there's some, like, for example, the runes boss that is just like the arc that it actually swings in is like way fucking wider than it ever shows.
Yeah. 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 I think I made like an arc, like I made a sketch of how wide it is, because we were testing
Yeah.
the bounce, and it's literally 180 degrees. It's
Yeah, yeah, I
so
remember.
big.
It's whack.
Yeah,
Whack-tastical.
exactly. Healing prio. What to heal?
Hmm.
I'm gonna
I would
let
say this
you.
is like well, the thing is, if you as a healer die, then literally nobody is receiving healing, but it is also like the EHP season where tanks are not unkillable sometimes, so sometimes it is okay for the healer to just fucking die and make a full run back and the pull is still going and you can just continue as if nothing happened.
Hmm.
But like the thing is, if tank dies, then everybody else probably also dies unless you have some like weird fucking kiting shit.
Yeah.
But usually that's just GG's.
So going up the ranks of the ladder, the lower leagues and low eternal, like how
Mhm.
much were you thinking about prio targeting your healing?
Well, like I know for a fact that if like tank dies, then the rest of the party is going to die as well. So if I have to make a choice between like saving a DPS or saving the tank or saving myself over a DPS, then like I know who I'm choosing. I'm sorry, DPS, but you guys are expendable as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that it is like highly relevant. Like you need to know that like you need to prioritize yourself and the tank over the DPS, and that's just the way it works.
Okay, I
Like
agree.
a lot of the time, it is just fine to let a DPS die if you can just make the timer, and a lot
Yeah.
of the time, it's completely feasible.
Yeah, if it's between, tank and healer, tank and DPS,
Yeah, yeah.
then yeah,
Like there's a
yeah,
clear priority for sure.
yep. And conscious thought, right? You kind of have to make a
Yeah,
choice.
yeah.
External defensives. Now, what is an external defensive, Smell?
For example, well, we could call dice an external
Mhm.
in the way that it might not come from you, but it also affects you in a defensive manner.
Yeah, or iron
But
bark. That's an external.
yeah, like that's what it like typically is thought of as. Like it's basically like a defensive that you can give someone else.
Yep.
So a lot of the time it is something the healer gives a tank, but also that's not like the only use case for it, but that's
Mhm.
usually what it is.
Yeah, I mean, knowing if your hero have externals is probably pretty
Mhm.
important, right? Either if it's
Yeah.
dice or if it's in your kit. Like knowing that Savian's shield is an external on a
Hmm.
5-second cooldown.
Yeah, yeah,
That's pretty nice.
for sure. Like knowing about a baseline is very relevant, but it's just like when you're in like lower Eternals, like you don't maybe have to think about it like that much, like where you actually need to use it. Like you can just kind of send it on cooldown, it's probably fine.
Yeah. Or like,
So I would
Helena using Grand
mm,
Melee for defensive
yeah, yeah.
reasons is not really relevant until High Eternal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like it might help, but it's just like your survival probably does not depend on it.
No. But it
So
can
I would
help a
maybe
tank
put
a
it
lot.
in. Oh, for sure, yeah. And just like I love playing with Helenas because they make like my life so much easier on like high heal checks like Shadow Lords and whatnot.
Mhm.
But I would put it in like maybe moderate.
Okay.
Because like you need to know about it, but you don't need to optimize it until much later.
Yep. True. Reactive versus pre-healing.
Okay, yeah. Well, that is like very relevant this season, especially because we're dealing with a lot of shields and EHP and whatnot.
So what's the difference
But
between
that's just
reactive and pre-healing?
so basically like proactive healing, as we like to call it. Basically, it's
Yeah.
just like uh, you have something to like mitigate damage in some way, or something that you need to ramp up to meet like a heal check like later down the line. For example, Sylvie's Heart Bloom.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you need to do some actions before the damage instance actually happens to get the healing value out of it, as opposed to just like, okay, somebody took damage, I healed them. That's what we would call reactive healing. I think that's just like that goes like pretty much just like knowing your healer kit and like how to actually get value out of your buttons. So I would say that that's like pretty high relevance.
Hi. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All
Because
right.
I feel like it's funny, like this season especially, I feel like all healers are kind of like proactive in their healing and that they need to do something before the damage actually happens or you're gonna have a very bad time.
Yeah. So they kind of go hand in hand, right?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
The next one is overhealing, but I feel like that goes into overcapping as well, kind of.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So we gotta
Because it's
ignore
just
that
like,
one.
yeah, like you don't want to use resources that you don't need, but it's just like it's probably not the worst thing in the world.
I can't see that. What the fuck? Uptime as a word, you know?
Uptime. I would maybe put it in like moderate or somewhere there because it's just like
Yeah.
it's not like the most relevant concept, but it's just like
Mm.
you need to understand that okay, like I have a buff that its uptime should be here, but it's
Mm.
not according to my logs, then you're doing something wrong with it, maybe.
I think it goes. I feel like maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like it
Mm-hmm.
goes a little too far into the min maxing aspect of the game.
For sure, yeah.
Because uptime is one of those things you start to min max first of all. Like other than like stats
Mm-hmm.
comes pretty late. Just having
Yeah, yeah.
more uptime. I feel like for a new player, uptime is gonna come naturally just knowing
Mm-hmm.
some of these, like at what an opener is,
Yeah, for
like how your
sure.
GCD works. So uptime comes kind of natural. So I don't think you have to
Mm-hmm.
worry that much about it.
Yeah, maybe you're right. But it's
Um,
also like it
mm,
kind of depends like what effect we're like tracking the uptime off. Like it's if it's
mm,
like something like literally essential that should have like 100% uptime, but for some reason doesn't, then there's like something wrong with your gameplay.
yeah, and then there's a lot
But
of
it's
underlying
yeah,
issues already, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because it kind of comes down. It could come down to you read your abilities wrong,
Yeah,
or wrong position, or you don't use your spell
yeah,
queuing correctly, or wrong stats. I guess so many things that goes into it.
yeah, yeah. Or
Uh,
you're just simply not pressing buttons when you should be.
yeah, exactly.
I don't know, just a lot of factors that goes into it, like what, like where the fucking issue actually is.
hmm Next one is
Next.
funnel damage. And do you know the
Mm.
definition of funneling?
Yeah, so, well, I mean, I do, but I don't think I could explain this succinctly, so go on.
Well, my idea of it, to the best of my knowledge, is that other than just doing more damage to
Mhm.
everything by having more AoE damage, if you have a certain amount of targets, funnel means that the damage you do to those targets does even more damage to a single target, or you have like a way
Yeah,
to
yeah,
do
basically.
even more damage to a single target because there's more targets around. So
Mhm.
funneling is something you famously do for Mara, because Mara can do insane amount of damage if she has something
Yeah.
around a prio target.
Mhm.
So that's how I understand
And
funneling.
Ardius to some extent as well, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah, exactly. And knowing it's very situational, and there's so few instances of funnel damage. It can be very essential for those characters in specific, and
Mhm.
kind of knowing what characters have funnel,
Mm.
it's pretty important. But for a new player, I've kind of like moderate, maybe low,
Yeah, yeah.
high. But
I
I
would
know
say maybe moderate, yeah.
model. Yeah, yeah, I'll
Like
take it.
it goes like a little bit into like optimizing your output. but it's just like, it's so like integral to like the kit of like certain DPS heroes.
Mm.
And it's just like when you really get into optimizing it, it's just like Mara really wants her like ability to funnel damage just like route it around. So it might like drastically change like what your routing actually looks like when
Mm.
you really play into it.
Yeah, 100%. Cooldown holding. A thing
Mm,
you usually have an issue with when you have a tank that doesn't chain pull, which
mhm.
goes into dungeon routes. Holding your
Yeah,
cooldowns
yeah.
is if you already know that the next pull is going to be either big or dangerous, or you know the boss or whatever, you kind of want to hold your cooldowns. Um,
Mhm.
I I feel like it kind of goes into cooldown pulls.
Yeah, sort of. But it's just also like, you kind of intuitively understand that you do not literally want to send everything on a pole that's basically already dead.
Yeah, I'm gonna
So
ult
I would
now.
say I would say maybe like low relevance.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
you have to like eventually like learn to just like estimate like what is too much in what
Mm.
situation. And sometimes the answer is like far from obvious, but you know, I think everybody develops like a baseline intuitive understanding of it like very quickly.
Yeah. Then it just comes down to if you have bad habits of clicking everything
Hmm.
on cooldown.
Oh yeah, for
Um,
sure.
padding. Now, some people might disagree with this. My definition of padding is that you pull something you do not need to pull to
Yeah,
increase your damage numbers or healing numbers.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Padding for DPS is just pulling ridiculous amount of stuff into a boss fight that you don't need because you already overcount, just to make your numbers go bigger.
Hmm.
It's padding is literally just flexing in my eyes. It's the same for healing. If you pad
Oh, for
healing,
sure.
it's when you take more damage than you're supposed to by standing and shit, so your healer can look better on the logs. No relevance. Like
No, 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 no.
insta. It's a
If you
bad
if you're
habit.
starting out the game, you do not need to know about parsing. Like that word just doesn't mean anything to you. Just
Yeah.
ignore it. Don't think about it.
Yep. Item level versus item rarity. So,
Mm, okay, that's interesting. Because like that's also like not very like intuitive, I feel. Like what actually has higher value here.
mm-hmm. And it's so
I would
situational because you might have an
Yeah.
item that's like red, but it might only be
Mm-hmm.
250. And if you're in Eternal, it's kind of like some people will mostly say some people say that item level is king and just always go for item level.
Mm-hmm.
But if your item is green and you're gonna replace a red item with a green item, usually the red will be better, even though it's lower item level, because it will have more
Yeah, yeah.
mods and stuff. It might be a set piece, or it might have like your biz, whatever.
Mm-hmm. It's
It's
just like I like to say that you don't really need to think about your gear when you're in leagues. Like before Eternal, just like don't think about it. It's fine. Just put on whatever you have and run with it. And if there's a problem, address it. But like before you run into problems, you don't really need to think about it.
yeah.
So I would say it's maybe like low relevance.
Yep.
Like it's just like it doesn't become like acute for you before you ever make it to Eternals.
No, because the more interesting question and harder to answer, which is why I didn't put it down, was rarity versus stats. Because you might have an item with your best stats, but it might be like wrong mods or whatever.
Mm,
So you know, yeah, I think this is
yeah.
fine.
Yippee.
Set bonuses. How important are they to know about? So there's a lot of them. I feel like knowing
Yeah.
what slots they go on is more important than knowing what what they are.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like
If we're going to BIS builder, we can.
again, like I feel like it's just like itemization is just like not that important when you're in leagues. It's just like you put on whatever you can get and that's it.
Yeah, because all these set
More is
bonuses,
more.
more is
Yeah.
more.
Yep,
Almost
yep.
always, you want to have his gear, Drakheim
Yeah.
almost always, and then from there,
Ah,
like I mean, for most people,
Depends.
Dragon, yeah.
Most people, yeah, most
Yeah.
people are not Aeonis.
Yeah. And knowing you can only have 3, or like you can only have 2 like capstone
Capstone says, yeah.
sets, and then you can, other than that, you have 2 smaller ones. It's pretty nice.
You can actually fit 5 sets, but I wouldn't ever recommend it.
What, you can?
Yeah. There's some that you can have. I can't remember exactly what they were, but like I'm certain that there
What?
was like a way to fit 5 sets.
Eureka.
I
Whoa.
think I think
How the
method builder might be bad,
do you,
but I don't know.
what? Because yeah, maybe. I haven't done the math of it on it.
Mhm.
I only have 3. I
But yeah,
will
anyway.
run this. But yeah,
Yeah.
so set
I don't think
pieces.
it's that
So
relevant, no.
no, probably not, because it goes into like
Yeah.
biz gear and stuff, and
Yeah. But
you
it's just
know,
literally just like the more you get out of your gear when you're in leagues, the better. But it's just like you don't think too hard about it.
yeah. Weapon abilities. And the idea with this was the value from the different weapon abilities. Thinking about,
Yeah.
if your character synergizes well with the vampire weapon, what it's called, the channeling one.
Zarlith. Yeah.
Yeah, or
Yep.
if you kind of want the faded strikes, or you want the skybolt, or
Yeah. Like I would say the weapon abilities are like highly relevant in the way that they become like an integral part of your kit. It's
mm-hmm,
just like not strictly attached to your hero, and you can swap it out as you see fit. But it's just like again, like when you're just starting out, you just run whatever you can get your hands on, and it's probably fine.
mm,
So I would say maybe like moderate relevance, and that you really need to learn to like play around them, and you need to learn what they do and like how to integrate into your kit.
yeah, and yeah, it's exactly how they synergize again, right?
Hmm.
All right,
Yeah, like where you like have to use them and to get like most out of them and whatnot.
yeah,
Like
and
they do become
knowing,
like a part of your rotation very much.
yeah, and again, read the fucking tooltips,
Read the
because
tooltip.
a lot of people don't know that the shackle gives you, it's a huge fucking defensive, because
Oh yeah, for
everything
sure.
it touches, which is everything in combat basically,
Hmm.
because it range like 2,000 yards within combat, and it
Oh yeah.
gives like 50% decreased attack speed. It's like, or is it 40?
Hmm.
It might be 40. It's fucking
It's a lot anyway.
ridiculous. It's so much, like 18 seconds or whatever.
Yeah.
It's so long.
Yeah, and a lot of like traits also deal with like weapon abilities and their cooldowns and whatnot. So it's just like there's like a
Yeah.
lot around it that is like relevant.
So many majors. I mean,
Yeah.
I can mark them all. So there's
We
inspired.
got IA, yep.
Yeah. Not that one. Brave. That one. That one. That one.
Heroic Brand, Vogue, yeah. All
Yeah.
that is very relevant to weapon abilities. And then there's of course no, hold on, that doesn't count. What the hell am I on about? Never mind.
Yeah. Hunter.
I was thinking about that, but that's slightly different.
Yeah. So
Yep.
I
Anyway.
wish we got like a 7th color of gem called Obsidian, which was completely weapon ability based. It would be so
That would be
cool.
cool.
It would be so cool. Like when you activate your weapon ability, you get 3 random, traits.
Yeah.
It would be kind of cool.
Hmm.
But yeah, so item. Oh wait, we already did one. Item modifiers, and this is what we talked about at the beginning.
Yeah.
About like different types serve as different,
I would put it in the same category as set bonuses because that's just kind of like, what it is as well.
Yeah.
Like that's within the umbrella of item modifiers in a way.
Yeah, because knowing what you said, that, heroics, majors, and defensives all count under the same umbrella, even though they can't roll into each other. It's kind of nice to know. It's not really neat to know. You're gonna fuck up the crafting anyways. You have to learn somehow, right?
Like the extent that you have to know in leagues, it's just like, okay, there are some like passive effects on my items and they do something for me, and that's about it. Like you don't need to know further than that.
You're
on a
never
very base level.
crafting anyways until like
Yeah.
mid-eternal, pretty much. Bis or near bis?
No relevance whatsoever.
Right. Next one. Stat priority.
I would put this in like low relevance at least.
Mhm.
Because it's just like there are some heroes that just do not fucking gain any benefits from like certain secondary stats.
Miko.
Yeah, and also Aeon with Spirit, who
Yay! Good thing for my
but it's
spirit
just like,
build.
yeah.
Fuck.
But again, like it is like such a fucking non-issue in like leagues and lower turn. Like, it's just like literally it doesn't matter. Like you can have a fucking 50% spirit Aeon and you can make it work. It's fine.
And in lower leagues,
It's
your
okay.
stat prio fucking flies everywhere. Like every
Oh yeah,
item you
yeah.
swap, it completely swaps the weight. So yeah, low, very low.
Yeah, and also it's just like in leagues, like the total amount of stats that you have to play with, it's so low that it really doesn't like give you a realistic image of like what your actual output even should be.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Diminishing returns.
Probably no beginner relevance.
Yep.
Because like this is again like one of those things that the game doesn't really outright tell you. It's just like you need to know that okay, when your secondary stats go over like this and this percentage, it's just like you start to get a little bit less out of the rating that you put into them. But
Yeah.
like it's not really beginner relevant at all.
Let me see if I can find it. So fellow tools, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can show it. Because there's some
Yeah.
websites that can calculate it. So if I go in the character planner here and I take my lovely Savian, I can put on a bunch of items here, right? Bunch of
Yeah, it's
items.
clever.
And over on the right side, you should be able to see that I start getting like some stats and stuff. And now, so crit chance right now says I have 17%, 17.59%, and I have 79 points, and right now I have minus 0.05 diminishing returns.
Yes. And this is a different DR from damage reduction.
Yeah. It basically means that I'm losing 0.05%. So instead of having, 17.64, I have 17.59. It's just what it means. And the more DR I get on diminishing returns, bigger the number hopefully should be. Just taking random items here. Yeah, so now you can see I'm basically right now with these items, whatever they are, I am losing 0.3%, 0.07%, and 0.21% of stats, and it doesn't really matter all that much, but it's just nice to know that you're starting to lose stats.
Lose value.
Yeah, but for like it doesn't mean that you're not allowed to go above that, because even though you go above the diminishing returns, you might still with the diminished value you might still get more than the other secondaries. So
yeah, but it's a lot of like kind of high level optimization.
Yeah, for sure. The same with the next one, which is soft caps. And
and
hard
very much
caps.
in the same. Yeah, same camp.
They don't matter. And I just
and breakpoints put in the same fucking category for the sake of it.
They don't matter. I put them in here just to show if you see these words, they mean something very specific. It might not be relevant for you for the longest time, but it's nice to know that they exist out here. Don't worry about them. It's for the theory crafters in general.
Yeah. Optimizers.
If you're not calculating your own build, it doesn't matter for you.
Yeah.
And even if you are, it might not matter for you.
Yep.
Flooding, I would put that on moderate.
Yeah, because like you need to like eventually learn like how to actually like work around the current crafting system, but it's just like again like you don't want to like invest. You want to invest like the bare minimum of like your resources on your gear when you're in leagues.
Yep.
But it's still like very important to like eventually learn like what you can do with it and what you should do with it and so on and so forth.
Yeah. And there's a chart on the Fellowship Discord on the content channel. There's a separate sub post which is called flooding, and it has like a flow chart. You can't miss it.
Yeah. Very good infographic. I approve.
Yep. And it also shows what we talked about earlier about the way that set bonuses work, that the set bonus items get their set bonus first, and then afterwards they get their first real modifier. So flooding doesn't really mean anything on blue set bonuses.
Yep.
All right, next one. Modifier rerolling. So these are all like loot based.
Yeah, I think modifier and slots rerolling, they just kind of go in the same category, or maybe even low. I don't know. Yeah,
You kind of
because
need it
like
to
they're just
flood.
like yeah. Like you need to just like this is all just like baseline understanding how to game the crafting system, pretty much, or
Yeah,
like how it even functions. So I think I would just put them all in the same category there.
yeah, slots
This one
rerolling
as
as
well.
well.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you mentioned already that certain modified types like major and blessing
Mm.
they count for different values, so they
Mhm,
don't
mhm.
have the same odds or chance.
Yep.
Hero synergies.
I think this one is like very low, if any relevance to beginners. It's just like you can clear and time anything with any comp and it's fine.
Yeah,
Like it's probably like no relevance honestly, because it's
yeah.
just like
It's player based. It's completely
yeah,
down
yeah,
to the player. Like, just play
yeah,
better.
yeah. Pretty much, pretty much.
Yep.
Like there obviously there's like some like kind of some heroes that maybe don't play as well together. Like I talk about a lot about the absolute non-bro that is like Savian and Aeona this season, but just like it should not matter on a base level. Like
Yeah.
this is just like when you're actually getting to the keys that get like actually difficult to time and like require a lot of like playing around certain things. Like that's when you need to think about what your comp is and you know how to best utilize it and whatnot.
Yeah. Exactly.
Mhm.
And avoidable and unavoidable damage
Okay,
is the
yeah.
full thing.
I think this is very relevant.
Hmm.
It's like you just need to learn how to like what you need to, what you need to press your defensive for, and you need to learn how to not stand in shit, and just like that's just like very base level thing.
Yeah. Because knowing which things does avoidable damage, like if you see a
Hmm.
puddle on the ground, don't stand in the fucking puddle. Get out of the fire.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You can
But then
avoid
there's
it.
like yeah, then there's like things that are not like as visually like intuitive, like say decimate from the brutes and sands and the
Mm,
storm from the big ice elementals. They just like it's just like a big AoE around the thing that you can
yeah.
avoid it by just like running out.
Yeah, because that goes under
Or
avoidable is knowing
mhm.
if something has fall off damage.
Yeah, also.
Yeah. Or the sibling for that matter. Fuck the siblings, dude.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Fuck 'em.
Why did they add those in the game?
I don't know, man. It's a fucking moving sentry or sentinel.
Mm.
Um, don't, careful,
But
he's
yeah,
gonna
basically
spawn
you just need
OTM.
to learn how to avoid damage when possible.
Yep. And knowing which things you can't avoid, so you don't have to
Yeah, for
try.
sure.
Um,
And if you can't avoid it, then you can make like your chances of survival higher by pressing your defensive or whatnot.
press your fucking defensives, DR, DR.
Yes.
Almost done. Mob snapping. Get in the
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
no beginner relevance.
Yeah,
Um,
and I feel like this season, because we do not have the Shadow Lord bug anymore, like it's
yeah.
even like less relevant. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and if you guys want to know
But
about
it's
it, in the last conversation I had with the tanks in the game,
Mhm.
I talked with Porky, Ark, Kushti, and OTM. We talked about snapping. OTM explained how it works. Go watch that video instead. It's in the description, I think. I put it in there.
Something mobs teleport to you when they can't breach you by running to you.
Yeah, no relevance. It's funny. It's a funny
Yeah.
little feature. That doesn't matter.
Yeah. Only like becomes like a relevant and sometimes even necessary technique when you just like get higher up and you need to like accomplish like specific things for your routing or your comp or whatnot.
Yeah, but that's the thing. We're done.
Okay.
We're
Hell
done.
yeah.
Look at
Woohoo.
that. This is
Beautiful.
our smell. This is our official noobs what to know trademark.
Yes. TLDR, read your tooltips, kick what you need to kick, and do not stand in shit.
Yes.